In the world of One Piece, there are thousands of devil fruits, each with completely different abilities. Some devil fruits will give you powers as ridiculous as turning into a jacket, while others can literally make you a god. So today, I'm ranking the top 15 strongest devil fruits in One Piece. At number 15, we have the Logia type Mori Mori no Mi. This is the forest Logia devil fruit. Unlike most Logia users, Green Bull's element is actually solid, meaning attacks don't simply pass through his body. They can physically touch him because his power allows him to transform into plants. However, just because an attack touches him doesn't mean it will actually damage him. To truly hurt him, the attack needs to be coated with powerful haki. There is one natural element that has an advantage against this devil fruit, and that's fire. But that doesn't mean Green Bull is completely helpless against it. If the user trains enough, just like Green Bull, and makes his body resistant to fire, he can survive those attacks as well. And even if someone somehow burns him completely, he can simply grow back again, just like a real plant. So far, we've only seen this devil fruit once, but judging by everything it has shown, I'm ranking it at number 15. Now, if there's one devil fruit that can naturally counter Green Bull, it's the Mera Mera no Mai. Originally, this devil fruit belonged to Portgas D. Ace. After his death, it was inherited by Sabo. This fruit grants complete control over fire. It enhances even basic punches and kicks by coating them in flames, making every attack much more devastating. And if you've watched Marineford, you already know just how powerful Ace was with this ability. However, this devil fruit isn't always effective, especially against powers like Smoker's Smoke Fruit or Aokiji's Ice Fruit. If users of these abilities fought each other, the battle could go on forever without giving us a clear winner. But there is one devil fruit that completely overpowers the Mera Mera no Mi, the Magu Magu no Mi. Akainu's magma is naturally much hotter than normal fire, giving him a massive elemental advantage. And because of that, the Mera Mera no Mi takes the number 14 spot. Okay, before we continue, a brand new devil fruit has just arrived on the market. The Sub no Mi. Anyone who eats this devil fruit immediately subscribes to Samratka channel, so make sure you eat this devil fruit right now. Next up is the Zushi no Mi. This is a Paramecia type devil fruit that allows its user to control gravity itself. Its current user is Isho, better known as Admiral Fujitora. Using this power, Fujitora can manipulate almost anything: buildings, ships, the ground itself, and much more. But the truly terrifying part of this ability is that its user can affect the gravity of an entire country. Anything caught within that gravity field can remain under his control for a very long time. The range of this devil fruit is also incredible. We've seen Fujitora casually summon gigantic meteors from outer space using this ability. Gravity also allows him to fly, which is always a huge advantage for any devil fruit user. On top of that, Fujitora can channel this gravity through his sword, creating devastating sword attacks. The only downside is that if someone interrupts him with an attack, he often has to reactivate or readjust his gravity technique. Even with that weakness, this amazing devil fruit earns the number 13 spot. Next is the Nikyu no Mi. This Paramecia type devil fruit belongs to the former warlord, Bartholomew Kuma. Its ability allows the user to repel almost anything by using the paw pads on their hands. This includes physical objects like people or weapons, but also things that don't physically exist, such as pain, memories, and even fatigue. Once those things are pushed out into a bubble, anyone can touch that bubble and experience whatever was stored inside it. They don't even need to be the devil fruit user. For example, Bonnie witnessed Kuma's memories this way, and Zoro absorbed all of Luffy's pain. But this devil fruit isn't just useful for support. It also provides one of the best defensive abilities in the entire series, because Kuma can repel almost any incoming attack with a single touch of his paws. Next up is the Goro Goro no Mi. The Goro Goro no Mi is a Logia type devil fruit that allows its user to create, control, and become electricity itself. Its current user is Enel. The stronger the electricity becomes, the more devastating its lightning attacks are. One of the most unique abilities of this devil fruit is that if the user is about to die, they can literally restart their own heart by shocking themselves back to life. This devil fruit possesses enough destructive power to unleash island-sized attacks and even wipe out entire countries. And if the user also has observation haki, they can dramatically increase its range by combining it with their electric abilities. The only true natural counter to this devil fruit is rubber. If someone has a rubber body, or even uses rubber equipment, they can physically touch Enel without being affected by his electricity. That's why this devil fruit lands at number 11. Even then, there are still 10 devil fruits that are even stronger. Next is the Pika Pika no Mi. This Logia-type devil fruit grants its user the power of light. Its current user is Admiral Kizaru, who can literally move at the speed of light. Most of his attacks revolve around firing devastating lasers, whether from his fingers, his feet, or by creating massive beams of concentrated light. Since Kizaru is made of light, his light form can normally travel only in straight lines. Under normal circumstances, almost nobody can physically touch Kizaru because attacks simply pass through his light body. Although, if Kizaru happens to show up after smoking a little too much that day, he somehow manages to let attacks hit him anyway. The only reliable way to deal with this devil fruit is through incredibly strong haki. We even saw Luffy land attacks on Kizaru during the Egghead arc using powerful haki. That's why this devil fruit earns the top 10 spot. Next is the Hie Hie no Mi. This devil fruit currently belongs to Kuzan, formerly known as Admiral Aikiji. The Hie Hie no Mi allows its user to transform into ice while also creating and controlling it on a massive scale. We've seen Kuzan freeze entire sections of the ocean in an instant, including enormous ships and countless people. The biggest strength of this devil fruit is its attack power. Kuzan can freeze opponents within seconds. We've seen him do this to Luffy, Robin, and even Whitebeard. His ice is so powerful that it can permanently change the climate of an entire island. One incredibly useful ability is that Kuzan doesn't fear water like most devil fruit users. If he ever falls into the sea, he can simply freeze the water beneath him before sinking. Although, after losing to Akainu, maybe he should have just drowned himself in a puddle. And that's why the Hie Hie no Mi takes number 9. Next is the Tori Tori no Mi, Model Phoenix. This is the first mythical Zoan devil fruit on today's list, and also one of the first mythical Zoans introduced in One Piece. As the name suggests, this devil fruit allows its user to transform into the legendary Phoenix. Its user is Marco, the first division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates. Like every Zoan user, Marco receives a massive boost to his physical strength and durability. Being a bird-type Zoan also allows him to fly. But the one ability that pushes this devil fruit so high on the list is the Flames of Resurrection. Marco's blue flames can heal almost any injury he suffers, allowing him to recover from damage that would normally kill other people. He can even heal other people, although the healing effect on others is much weaker. Of course, this healing isn't unlimited. The blue flames consume a huge amount of stamina. Once Marco runs out of stamina, he can no longer produce those flames, making him far less effective in battle. Because of that limitation, this devil fruit earns the number 8 spot. We've only reached the halfway point of this ranking, and the remaining devil fruits are absolute monsters. But before we continue, next up is the Magu Magu no Mi. The Magu Magu no Mi is a Logia-type devil fruit, and its user is Fleet Admiral Akainu. This devil fruit is often called the most destructive Logia in the entire series, and for good reason. Anything touched by Akainu's magma is almost instantly destroyed. Magma is naturally much hotter than fire, which is exactly why Akainu is the greatest donut maker in One Piece. Just like Kuzan permanently changed the climate of an island with ice, Akainu permanently transformed the other half into a volcanic wasteland during their battle on Punk Hazard. Akainu is so overwhelmingly powerful because of this devil fruit that even One Piece creator Eiichiro Oda once said that if Akainu were the main character, he could find the One Piece in just 1 year. Oda is glazing Akainu harder than his own fans. Another terrifying thing about this devil fruit is that it has almost no obvious weakness. Even if you somehow survive one magma attack, the damage it leaves behind is usually fatal. That's why the Magu Magu no Mi takes the number 7 spot. Next is the Gura Gura no Mi. The Gura Gura no Mi is widely known as the strongest Paramecia-type devil fruit, and it's easy to understand why. This devil fruit allows its user to generate devastating vibrations capable of creating massive earthquakes and seaquakes. Its original user was Whitebeard, the man known as the strongest man in the world. After Whitebeard's death, Blackbeard stole this devil fruit like a true pirate. This power alone, the user can easily destroy entire islands, and if nobody manages to stop them, they could potentially destroy the entire world. The Gura Gura no Mi can also be used in many different ways. The user can compress vibrations into the air and launch them like shockwaves, create quake bubbles around their fists, or even crack the atmosphere itself before striking an opponent. The biggest drawback is that this power is extremely difficult to control. If you use it carelessly, you'll destroy everything around you, including your own allies. Now only 5 devil fruits remain, and any one of them could make someone one of the strongest beings in the world. Next is the Yami Yami no Mi. The Yami Yami no Mi is often considered the strongest Logia-type devil fruit in One Piece. Its user is Marshal D. Teach, better known as Blackbeard. This devil fruit grants the power to create and control darkness itself. Unlike normal Logia powers, Blackbeard's darkness behaves more like an endless black void that drags everything into it. Buildings, roads, weapons, entire landscapes, even things that don't physically exist, like devil fruit powers themselves, can all be swallowed by this darkness, and whatever comes back out usually comes back completely destroyed. The Yami Yami no Mi has several terrifying techniques. One of them is Black Hole, which pulls everything nearby into its darkness. Another is Liberation, where Blackbeard releases everything the darkness has absorbed in one devastating explosion. He also has Kuruzu, an attack that uses gravity to pull an opponent directly toward him. And the moment Blackbeard touches his target, he completely cancels their Devil Fruit abilities, even if they're a Logia user. That single ability is what makes this Devil Fruit one of the most dangerous powers in the entire world. Next up is the Ope Ope no Mai. The Ope Ope no Mi is a Paramecia-type Devil Fruit that allows its user to completely remodel anything inside a special operating space called a room. Its current user is Trafalgar D. Waterlaw. Once Law creates his circular room, he gains total control over everything inside it. He can teleport people from one place to another, separate their body parts, switch organs, move someone's head onto another person's body, or even place someone's head on their own legs, and somehow they'll still stay alive. Anyone who eats this devil fruit basically becomes the world's greatest surgeon. And honestly, I never want to become a patient inside one of Law's rooms. There are thousands of ways to use this devil fruit. Teleportation, cutting opponents apart without killing them, sending electric shocks directly through someone's body. And once the fruit is awakened, all of these abilities become even more powerful. But the one ability that makes this devil fruit worth 5 billion berries is the perennial youth operation. By performing this surgery, the user can grant another person eternal youth, making them immune to aging and natural death. The downside is that performing the operation costs the user their own life. And that's exactly why the Ope Ope no Mai takes the number 4 spot. Now we've reached the top 3. Spoiler warning, if you don't read the One Piece manga, this is your chance to skip ahead. But if you're a true savage, keep watching. At number 3 is the Ryu Ryu no Mi. At number 2 is Imu's Devil Fruit. We still don't know the exact name of this devil fruit, but based on everything we've seen, its abilities are absolutely terrifying. And finally, number 1 strongest devil fruit in One Piece is the Hito Hito no Mi model, Nika. This mythical Zoan devil fruit belongs to the future pirate king himself, Monkey D. Luffy. After eating this fruit, the user becomes the legendary sun god Nika. At first, it simply appears to turn the user's body into rubber. Its true power goes far beyond that. That's exactly why the Hito Hito no Mi model, Nika, deserves the number 1 spot. If you enjoyed this ranking, click on the next video to continue the series until the very end.